a measure. And verily we will guard it. But the Prophet Yaqub refused. Then Yusuf's brothers went to their goods to remove the contents of their luggage, but they were surprised by the presence of their old goods which they used as a medium of exchange, so they told their father that their luggage was returned, and they immediately urged their father by mentioning his benefits for their family when they got food. They also strengthened their azm to protect their brother, Bunyamin. They also urged their father earnestly to increase the measure for their brother, because Joseph gave each person the size of a camel's load. So their father said, I will never let him go with you, before you give me a firm promise in the name of Allah, that you will definitely bring him back to me, unless you are surrounded by enemies. Joseph's brothers returned to Egypt. After they gave their promise, Yaqub said, Allah is a witness to what we said, this. Prophet Yaqub also advised them by saying, O my children, do not, together, enter from one gate, and enter from different gates, even so I cannot release you anything from destiny, God. The decision to determine something is only the right of Allah. I put my trust in him and let those who put their trust in him alone surrender. So Joseph's brothers went to Egypt and entered the gate following their father's advice so that they would not be afflicted with eye disease, because of their beautiful appearance, or so that they would receive news about Yusuf. Furthermore, when they were in front of Yusuf, Yusuf took his youngest brother, Bunyamin, approached him and talked privately with him, and told him that he was Yusuf, his brother. Joseph's ploy to keep his siblings with him. Furthermore, provisions were prepared for Joseph's brothers so that they would go home with him. Suddenly Joseph wanted his brother to stay with him, so Yusuf ordered his servants to put the cup, drinking vessel, into his brother's sack. Then shouted someone while calling, O caravan, in fact you are the ones who steal. Then Joseph's brothers immediately asked about what was missing. Then the one who shouted said that the king's cup was missing and the king had promised to give a reward in the form of food, the weight of a load of camels. But Yusuf's brothers did not accept the accusation, so that a deep dialogue arose with Yusuf. They were not thieves and they were willing to swear to it. Then the guard said, What will be in return if you lie? They replied, The reply is to whoever is found, lost item, in his sack, then he himself will be the reward, ransom. According to the law of the Prophet Yaqub alaihissalam, that whoever steals, the punishment is that the thief is made a slave for 1 year for the person who was stolen. Because Yusuf knew that the punishment was the punishment that applied to the children of Israel's Sharia, he accepted the punishment, did not follow the punishment imposed in Egypt, and his brothers also agreed to the punishment, so Yusuf ordered his bodyguards to check the sacks. Their sack before checking his own brother's sack, then they found the king's cup from his brother's sack. They, Yusuf's brothers, said, If he stole, then indeed, his brother had stolen before that. So Yusuf hid his annoyance from himself and did not show it to them. He said, in his heart, You are worse off in your position, your qualities, and Allah is all-knowing of what you explain. Quran Surah Yusuf, 77. So his brothers remembered their promise to their father, namely to return their youngest brother, Bunyamin, to their father. They also said to Yusuf, O Al-Aziz, in fact he has a father who is very old. Therefore, take one of us instead, verily we see you are among those who do good. Yusuf said, I ask God for protection from detaining anyone, except for the person we found our property in. If we do that, then we really are the wrongdoers. Quran Surah Yusuf, 78-79. So when they despaired of Joseph's decision, they were alone while conferring in whispers. Said the oldest of them, Don't you know that your father actually took a promise from you in the name of Allah, and before that you had neglected Yusuf? Therefore I will not leave the land of Egypt, until my father permits me to return, or Allah gives a decision against me. And he is the best judge. Go back to your father and say, O our father, verily your son has stolen, and we only witness what we know, and we are never able to keep, things that are unseen. Furthermore, if you are in doubt, say to him, and ask, the people of the country we were in, and the caravan we came with, and verily we are the righteous. Quran Surah Yusuf 80-82. Their father, Prophet Yaqub, replied, "Only you yourself see the good, bad, actions. So good patience, that is, my patience. Hopefully Allah will bring them all to me, verily, He is the all-knowing, all-wise." Yaqub's sadness is increasing but still not giving up. So their father left his children and began to weep for Yusuf and his brother until his eyes were blind from deep sorrow. Then their children said, "By Allah, you always remember Yusuf, so that you have a serious illness or are among those who perish. Namely, so that his body is getting thinner and his strength is getting weaker." Yaqub replied, "Indeed, only to Allah I complain about my troubles and sorrows, and I know from Allah what you do not know." So Prophet Yaqub asked them to look for Yusuf and his brother. He realized as a believer that he should not despair of God's grace. Furthermore, his children went to Egypt the umpteenth time to look for their relatives and look for some food by bringing things that are less valuable. When they entered, "Where, Yusuf?" they said, "O Al-Aziz, we and our families have been afflicted and we have come with goods that are not valuable, so complete the measure for us, and give charity to us, verily Allah rewards those who give charity." Joseph reveals his true self. Then Yusuf suddenly replied to their words with these words, "Do you know the ugliness of what you have done to Yusuf and his brother when you did not know the result of your actions?" They replied, they said, "Are you really Joseph?" Yusuf replied, "I am Yusuf and this is my brother. Indeed, Allah has bestowed His bounty on us. Indeed, whoever is pious and patient, then surely Allah does not waste the reward of those who do good." So his brothers apologized to him and admitted their mistake. Then Yusuf forgave him and asked Allah for forgiveness for them. Then Yusuf asked them about his father. From the news that was conveyed, Yusuf knew that his father had been blind because of his sadness over the loss of Yusuf. So Yusuf said to them, "Go with this robe of mine, then put it in my father's face, later he will see again, and bring your family all to me." Then they took their robes and left Egypt for their village in Palestine. On the way, before the caravan arrived, Prophet Yaqub had tasted Prophet Yusuf's fragrance. He said, "Indeed I smell Yusuf's fragrance. If you do not accuse me of being weak in reason, of course you justify me." His family said, "By Allah, in fact you are still in your former mistakes." Yusuf's meeting with his father. After a few days passed, Yusuf's brothers returned to their father and told the good news about their brother Yusuf. Then they took Yusuf's robe and put it on his father's face, so his sight returned to normal. At that time, Yusuf's brothers asked their father to ask forgiveness for them from Allah, so the Prophet Yaqub promised to ask forgiveness for them later at dawn, because that time was more efficacious. Furthermore, Yaqub and his children, the children of Israel, left Palestine for Egypt, and when they entered the land of Egypt, they were greeted with a great welcome. Yusuf also glorified his parents and put them in his seat. At that time, Yaqub and his wife and their 11 children could not stop themselves from bowing down as a tribute to Yusuf, and Yusuf remembered his previous dream when he was little, and that the sun and moon are its mother and father, while the 11 stars are its brethren. Yusuf said, "O my father, this is the interpretation of my previous dream, verily my Lord has made it a reality. And indeed my Lord did good to me, when he freed me from the prison house and when he brought you from the village of the desert, after Satan broke relationship between me and my brothers. Verily, my Lord is gentle towards what he wills. Verily, he is the most knowing, the most wise." Quran Surah Yusuf 100. When the Prophet Yusuf held the government of Egypt, Yusuf used the opportunity to invite his people to worship Allah, and after finishing his business and he felt that his life was not long, he said while acknowledging Allah's favor, thanking him and praying to remain above Islam until the end of his life, Yusuf said, "O my Lord, indeed you have bestowed upon me some powers and have taught me some interpretations of dreams. O God, creator of the heavens and the earth, you are my protector in this world and in the hereafter, leave me Muslim and join me with pious people." Quran Surah Yusuf 101. In Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim it is stated that the Prophet ﷺ was asked about the most noble person. He replied, "That is the most pious person." So the friend said, "Isn't this the point of our question?" He also said, "That is Joseph, a prophet of Allah, the son of the prophet of Allah, the son of the prophet of Allah, the son of Allah's lover." The story of Prophet Yusuf is mentioned at length by Allah in Surah Yusuf.